we're not living our lives in fight or flight anymore. Okay. And that's what so much of our using career has been. At a moment's notice, somebody could come running by and throw a rock through my back window. Right. And that just popped into my head right now. It actually kind of space that out, but that was an interesting situation. But and that was like, I was like, what the, like, how did that even happen? He's fast, but that thing taught me a whole lot. It was like that kind of shit that, like, shit could jump off at any moment. And so you're always living in not fear necessarily, but you're always living in a guarded manner. And that, as you said, is exhausting. So you can never relax. It's always, your guard's always up, like, because somebody's plotting to do some dirt on you, especially if you're sitting prettier than them at the moment.
You fall asleep, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's like you got to clear your house out, lock all the doors and windows and everything else to take a nap. Like,
yeah, and tell everybody you're just leaving. You're not. Don't tell them you're not going to be home. They'll just rob you anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. No, I got you, homie. I got you. I'm your boy. Like, and the next words out of his mouth to your other homie are, "Hey, when they go to sleep." Like,
yeah.
Really?
Or all the ones that'll steal your shit and then help you look for it. That's my favorite.
Yeah. How many times that's happened to me?
Like, I know. That's awful. But you know how freeing it is to all of a sudden just be able to leave my stuff wherever I leave it, wherever I put it, and not think about it, and know that when I go back, it's still going to be there.
It's going to,
and if it's not, it's going to be within arm's reach. Probably someone will have just moved it to a safer spot.
But and the flip side of that is, that if it's not where you think you left it, it's probably your own goddamn fault.
Right now, there is now, and Talon mentioned that to me the other day. He was like, "Then you got to take responsibility for the shit you do lose." He's like, "I don't know if I like that either."
Hey, you should be doing that stuff already, buddy. Like,
Oh my gosh! My friend Leona, she just moved to this giant house, and she was living in this little tiny shoebox trailer. I mean, it was just a little tiny thing with her and her kids and her husband, and and they have done so well, and they have this big beautiful house now, and I'm so proud of her. But she told me after like the first week, she's like, "I'm exhausted. I just walk around all day looking for shit that I set down, and I can't find anything. This house is huge. I can't find my kids. I can't find my keys. I can't find anything.
I lost my kids."
It was ridiculous. Oh, I was laughing at her. It's funny.
Yeah. I saw her.
First world problems, darling. First world problems.
Right? Yeah. These are luxury problems. That's awesome. I saw her. I don't know if you've talked to her, but I saw her like 4 or 5 days ago when I was out in the valley.
She calls me. Well, she's my sponsor, so I talk to her every day.
That's right.
Anyway. Like, she always calls and texts on me and everything. So
So did she tell you I saw her, talked to her, because she wanted me to tell you hi, and she loves you, and which I'm sure she does that whenever you guys talk. But either way, I saw her outside of the store, and I was like, "Is that?" I wasn't sure, because I only seen her like 2, maybe 3 times, and I was guaranteed either dope sick or high when I saw her. So, like, because I met her, I was high, or dope sick, not because she was, but because I was. And so I was like, I'm in the store, which again, I'm in the store that I used to not be allowed in, and now I am, which is crazy how things change, right? And
right.
They're like, "Oh, you look hungry. You can come in." And I walk, I asked the lady at the counter in the store, I was like, "Is that Leona?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh shit." So I went out there and I was like, "What's up?" And she's like, "Oh my God," and it's really cool. And, a lot of people had no use for me when I was using, because of things that they'd heard. And and I'm not gonna lie, like, I did a lot of things, but most of the time it wasn't the things everybody talked about. So, but
didn't make me the hero of the story.
Yeah, but anyway, now, now I'm the hero of my own story, and that's pretty cool. But
isn't it great?
You know what I'm saying? So
yes, I know.
I don't know. Gratitude goes a long way. Gratitude, grace, and then, the gift of pause. These are all things that we just don't have. We didn't have.
Yeah.
It
takes a while to get to that place. It takes a little while to get to that place. In fact, I just recently found my gratitude and forgiveness for what brought me here today, for the whole experience of getting arrested and
Okay.
all of that. I came to a place where I was like, you know what? By saying that, by even giving thought or words or speak to the thought or idea that somebody else did this to me or put me in this position or did the thing that caused me to be arrested or whatever, by not taking total responsibility for it and being like, no, I saw an opportunity and I took it and I got myself arrested. By taking that away, I've taken back control of the entire situation. I did it to myself because I knew it was the only way I was going to be able to get clean, because I didn't know how else to go about it. And I knew it had to be something big. And so
Right.
I took control by taking control of that. And then when I took control of it, I was like, huh, that means I don't have to blame anybody. That means I never even have to give any more thought to how it even came about. I don't have to blame anybody, but I don't even have to speak to that. I don't even have to give kudos to that, except for in the fact that I, within all of that, have found forgiveness of the person that caused the situation that prompted
Yeah.
me to say, hey, that's my purse. So by finding forgiveness in that, then I have now appreciation for the whole situation, which gives me total control of the whole thing. Now I have created my own past and my own memory of the situation, and it's mine. And that means that I have control of it.
And
now I have, no one can ever say, well, I'm the girl that got her arrested. I'm the one that got her this. I'm the one that did that. No. I am.
Right.
And I appreciate that whole experience, because without it, I wouldn't be sober today. So
and you know what?
I can find the beauty. I can find the beauty in all of that and be totally appreciative of it and take back control of it on my own. And that is a beautiful place to be.
That is, and that brings me to something also that when I told my story, when I told my story to Mark, he had asked me kind of what led me to going into treatment, and I kind of told him the circumstances that led me there, the actual physical circumstances that happened that got me there. But there was an incident that happened about a year prior to me actually going, that set everything in motion. I don't know, was God doing for me what I couldn't or wouldn't do for myself? I don't know, but this is kind of the way that it laid out, and it played out. If you're not getting around on foot, maybe you're getting around on a bicycle, and if you're not getting around on a bicycle, you're probably getting around on foot. Like, that's how that works.
Right.
If you have a car, you won't have it for long. Same thing with a quad, a dirt bike, whatever. And usually even a bike, you won't have that for long either. So I was without a bicycle and I needed to get somewhere. And so I asked my nephew if I could borrow his bicycle. And my nephew was like 15 at the time. Mm-hmm. And so he used his bike, but he's like, yeah, Uncle Mike, you can use my bike. I was like, okay, I'll bring it back. I use it. It gets stolen. I get it back. It gets stolen. I get it back. It gets stolen. I get it back. It gets stolen. I don't get it back. All right. And now it's like 2 weeks down the road, something like that. I was supposed to have it for one day. And so I go back to my sister's house, who lives right there, which I think where she lives. I go back and I tell my nephew, I'm like, I don't have your bike. I don't know where it is. And I'm trying to make myself sound better. Like, I've gotten it back like 6 times, so,
no.
But I've gotten it back like 6 times, you know what I mean? But either way, it doesn't matter. It's gone. I don't know where it is. Trying to muster as much honor as I could have at the time. I told him, I don't have any money, obviously. What do you want me to do to make it right? Like, I don't even know like what I can do to make it right, but I'll do anything to make it right because it's your bike and I lost it. It's gone. He said 2 words, and I had to abide by him because I told him I would, right? And he said, get help. Kind of started everything in motion, where I ended up. One could say like, well, see, like your nephew, like it was him, but I made the decision to stick to my word. so that's just like you were saying, like I'm not taking away my nephew telling me to get help, because obviously this kid has been raised well, and he's a good kid, like 100. And and he could recognize that somebody was like in a bad way, and then just hope against hope, like what he said would change something. And you know what? In a lot of ways it did.
But you should tell him that.
Oh, he knows, and he'll love to hear this too. So, because the other side of that is, if I sit here and go, oh, it's my nephew is the reason, then if I fail, then is he also the reason? Okay, is he going to sit there and go, well, I told him to get help and he didn't, so I guess that's my fault. You understand? Like
no.
It could go both ways.
No, I don't think so. Because I think at that point when he was telling you to get help, it was kind of did you ever see that movie Airplane back in the day?
Hell yeah, I did. Don't call me Shirley.
Remember that scene where all those, right? Don't call me Shirley. So remember that scene where they're all lined up and they're slapping that lady? I think you get to a point where your family just feels like that about you. Like they're just lining up to slap you and I'm hoping somebody gets through, kind of deal. And then that was that kid's kind of plea. It was his turn to slap you and it just happened to stick that time. That's what I think.
That's pretty good. That's just, you know what? I think that's fair. That checks out.
That's what I think.
Oh, that's actually very, very well said. Very well said.
That's kind of how I envision it in my head, like each family member just kind of stepping up and taking their turn, taking their shot.
Yeah,
it was his turn, and you happen to listen. All right, kudos for him.
Spoken like
I think that if you hadn't listened, it would have been like, well, I tried.
Right.
Like, what do? You can't take that on.
Right.
You're a little kid.
But what do kids do? Like they internalize these things, and everything's about kids. This. So,
yes.
Like the reality is, and whether it be on a conscious level or a subconscious level, like he was going to take it on either way. Okay. Right. So, like the adults already knew that nothing they could say was going to change anything. So
now check this out. So by giving him the kudos for doing that, now you are even more responsible to your sobriety because you don't want to fuck him up, so to speak.
People are like, what's your reason? They're like, well, if you don't have a good reason, you'll never stay clean. And my response was, you don't know me. Watch me.
Watch me. Yeah.
I'm going to show you something, right?
You don't know how determined I am.
Yeah, you don't even know. Like, it's, so, and, one thing that nobody that has eyes that can see can discount an addict's drive. Okay. Like we are the most driven, resourceful, idiots to ever walk the face of the planet, because we will keep doing the dumbest shit on earth to keep doing the dumbest shit on earth just to keep doing the dumbest shit on earth. Like it's amazing. And so, to use our power of tenacity for good instead of evil, imagine where the world would be.
I know. It's just like when I was trying to tell him, it's just amazing how driven he was to get drugs or to get money for drugs every day on a moment-to-moment basis. That kid was tenacious. Oh
my God.
Tenacious than anyone I've ever met in my life. And I was asking him about that the other day, and he said, it's really weird. He said the drive is still there. My tenacious drive is still there. I still strive to do that. He said, but my focus has completely changed. I do it for my daughter. I do it to make money so I can bring diapers, so I can make my car payment. I'm focused on that. The whole focus has changed. I don't even think about drugs. That's not even on my radar. Like ain't nobody got time for that.
Yes, exactly. And that's a total paradigm shift, and it's a beautiful thing when it happens. The motivation, the importance of the motivation is, or not the importance, identifying identifying the motivation doesn't even, I don't even think that's, I don't have to identify my motivation for you or anyone else, and nor do you to me. The only time it's my business is when you're trying to push it on somebody else, and or actually until you're trying to push it on me. Then it's like, that's not my motivation. I'm not, that isn't going to work for me. I'm not going to stay clean for your kids. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, if that's your motivation,
right? Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, well, that's great. That works for you. Awesome. I'm glad. If you want to stay clean because you'll get a new bicycle, a new tire for your bicycle, awesome. Like, that's great. Like, if that's what it takes, it doesn't matter.
It's really, like you said, it's nobody's business what your motivation is. The fact is, if somebody is coming to you, and if you're a counselor, if you are a drug rehab administrator, whatever, if somebody is coming to you because they are motivated, the key word there is motivated. Roll with that. Whatever words are behind that word, whatever feelings or thoughts or whatever the process is behind that, that's secondary. The fact is, they are motivated right here, right now. Jump on that, whatever that is.
Exactly. Let's focus on that.
Because their feelings don't match your formula.
Right.
I don't like that.
No, and I'm I'm 100 on that. It's just, I don't fit into your box. So what? I'm not gonna do what you did. No, man, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Now, I understand everybody wanting to have this perfect template of how to do it. But in the end, it comes down to the individual. So
exactly.
I don't know.
I don't like to be in a box.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I'm not. And so, crawling through a rabbit hole in a cave somewhere is absolutely thrilling to me. Like, I love that. I like being able to breathe and feel my chest get tight against the floor of a cave while my back is getting pushed against the top of it. I think that's cool to me. Okay.
Right.
I like being underwater for way too long. It's like,
exactly.
But that's me. So, everybody's different. The sheer thrill of being able to do something that, I'm sure that not a lot of people thought that we were going to be able to do. I did some research before I went up and spoke at Granite Mountain, and the number is 66% of heroin addicts relapse. Okay, so 33% of people that try and quit, go to treatment, whatever you want to call it, 33%. It's a pretty good success rate, really. But compared to meth, like it's a pretty good success rate. But 33% actually make it and don't use again. 66% use again. Of that 66% that use again, 3% make it back. So think about that. And that's either through either they continue their life using until they die of old age, or they die of an overdose.
Wow.
So
wow, I don't know how about the statistics. All I know is that prior to recently, like, I've been kind of in the drug world for like 28 years since I was 20 years old, right?
Right.
So there's been times where I was totally in my addiction, but there's been times where I wasn't in my addiction at all. Although I wasn't in recovery either. And there's a difference. There's
Absolutely.
a big difference. It wasn't like a relapse before because I wasn't in recovery, and always in the back of my mind, I always thought, well, someday I will, and someday I can, and someday when this happens, or there was always going to be a time and a place that was going to be okay for me to continue my drug use. There was never going to be a time and a place where I was just not going to do that anymore. That wasn't what my plan was. So I wasn't ever actually in recovery. So any relapses during that time, to me, don't really count. Even though there were times where I went 10 years without doing it and then went back to it again.
Yeah.
And it was just more like just going back to it, but it was because I wasn't seriously in recovery. But this time is different. This time I got myself arrested and put myself in rehab and begged to go to rehab on purpose because I wanted to get clean that badly.
Right.
That's the difference, is it's all been me. It hasn't been the court saying we're going to take your kids from you if you don't do this, this, and this. Okay, whatever. I'll do this, this, and this. Pee in your stupid cup, and eventually I'll be able to do drugs again because you'll be out of my life. Whatever.
Yep. Yeah, and
No,
that's
it's not about that this time. No one's threatening to take my baby. I'm not the star of the latest Lifetime movie. Give me back my baby. No. It's not where I am in my life. But this
you are
time
not the
it's
father.
because right. So this time it's different because I want to be here. Because I am old enough to make a decision where someone isn't threatening me.